We are at the Infocom show, set up showing the Anaconda digital snake system. As anything, it starts with a microphone. So here we are in front with the microphone. We'll move on back and show how this is all connected. Here's the mic cable coming from the microphone into a 188. ADAT out of the 188 into ADAT in of the Anaconda. Out of the Anaconda through a hub, out of the hub into the optical con system. The connection between the Anaconda and the optical con is SC to LC. And then there's the optical con, so there's multimode duplex in the optical con fiber. Then it, coming from this point, goes through a 1,000-foot reel up to this Anaconda. This is the back end, if you will, the receive end. Out of that into this Anaconda. Out of this Anaconda into a Yamaha expansion card, the ADAT expansion card, into the Yamaha, out of the Yamaha through the expansion card, back into the Anaconda, out fiber, back through the system, out of the system ADAT. ADAT into AES, AES back in, ADAT out, ADAT back in, analog output into the head pod, out of the head pod into headphones. One of the key advantages of the Anaconda system is that it is open architecture. You don't need any aphex equipment other than the Anaconda itself. If it talks ADAT and it's externally syncable, you're in. And also we have the interfaces that connect you to AES, to analog, and of course ADAT. So the component pieces are the mic preamps. You have the 188s. Very cost effective, very light, not a lot of heat, and but tremendously great sounding preamps. The first commercial application of them for this year's Grammy Awards. Since then they've been used to record Bruce Springsteen, they've been on the Academy Awards, Philadelphia Symphony Orchestra, and on and on. So the remote trucks are loving them. They're great for fly packs and installations as well. The other product, the other mic pre is the one that started it all, is the 1788A. This is the audiophile, the high end of my trip. Multiple conversions, and up to a 2.5 mile run is a little bit more than a millisecond round trip. So when people listen to the Anaconda system, with all this combination of equipment and this distance, they're amazed that they don't feel that there's anything in between them and the microphone. So that's why we have the headphone and the microphone put together, but take the people through the tour of all the stuff in between. The analog line level converter, and that's the model 142. Everything is set exactly so that minus 20 dBFS is relative to plus 4 dBu. So there's a plus 24 max input, so you're able to get full level. If you have a line output, you don't have to go through a preamp. So that's the advantage of that. One of the things on the system is that if you see green, the system's working. So what I could do is just pull out the clock feed, and you'll see that this will turn red. So if you look in your rack and you see something's red, you know there's something wrong. And then I'll put the clock back in, and it turned green. We have D to A, model 141, also trimmed exactly with reference precision. And then the 144 is bidirectional ADAT to AES, AES to ADAT. Then you have the 828M, and here you have all the 8 clock outputs. The reason that there's such low latency in this system is it's synchronous. So in order for it to be synchronous, everything has to live on the same clock, and that clock is 48K. If you have a house clock and the house clock is accurate, you can use the external clock and have that in there. So you have 8 ADAT in, 8 ADAT out for 64 channel bidirectionality. If you want to use SMUX, you half the channel count, so it becomes 32K, 32 channels back and forth, but it's working up at 96K. We just added the outputs, MADI output, to the Anaconda. So you have 2 separate MADI outputs. We have redundant fiber runs, and the value of that is if one of the fiber runs, the main is broken, it switches automatically to the backup, the redundant. So that gives you greater safety. And the other thing that we have in here is dual power supplies. If one power supply fails, it switches to another power supply. On this side, we have the Ethernet connection, and it's about a 5 meg of bandwidth, and you can put anything you want through it. You don't have to use any aphex gear or any aphex protocol to get signal through that. But this is only for control. Very important point. The control all travels through the fiber. The only connection you need between the 2 ends is the fiber. On the back of the interface boxes, because they're half-rack devices, we use 25-pin Tascam format, so you get your 8 channels of analog